Domlec launches the first in a fleet of electric cars as part of the company's contribution towards promotion of renewable energy. A Goodwill man formally charged with the murder of Tricia Riviere of Stock Farm, and the Bureau of Gender Affairs to step up its support for victims of domestic violence. I am Lurian Graham Carter with the Channel 5 News. Details coming up. Topping the news, Minister for Public Works and Ports says the introduction of an electric car worth over $100,000 is a bold and visionary initiative. Domlec launched the first electric vehicle at their Fonkole station on Friday. Mr. Pinard says the launching of Domlec's electric vehicle is an arrow pointing to the future.
First impressions, Mr. Minister?
Very good, very good. Basically, the vehicle is very silent. You don't hear anything. You know, it moves swiftly. So I think it's an excellent, what Domlec has done here today is showing the future of going green. And I really want to encourage other businesses to get into what Domlec is doing by ordering the electric vehicle.
Government will relentlessly pursue the vision of achieving 100% renewable energy with geothermal energy as a main driver of this vision. We're encouraged by the strong support coming from Domlec as we develop this enterprise and expect to build on this support as we seek a stronger collaboration in its development. Ladies and gentlemen, the introduction of a vehicle on the Dominican landscape that does not consume fossil fuel as a source of energy to power its engine is nothing short of revolutionary.
Domlec's engineering, transmission and distribution manager says the Nissan Liv is an automatic car which was brought in from Barbados. He says the vehicle can be charged using a standard 3-pin outlet and can drive up to 84 miles on a full charge. Charging time can vary from 30 minutes to 8 hours.
So it doesn't have a transmission like your combustion engine vehicle does. It's a motor that turns the wheel, pretty much like a blender at your home. When you need it to turn, you just press the button, that's what happens. When you press the accelerator, the motor turns. It's a push to start.
Laverne says after evaluation of the vehicle, the company will consider adding more electric cars to the Domlec fleet. In other lead stories, Rodman Moses of Goodwill has been formally charged with the murder of Tricia Riviere on the 3rd of November. Lewis appeared before Chief Magistrate Kandiakara George where the charge was read to him. He is not required to plead since the matter is indictable. He is represented by lawyer Anthony Commodore. The preliminary inquiry is set for March 18, 2016. Disclosure is set for January 31, 2016. In other news, increased support for victims of domestic violence is the top of the agenda of the new Acting Director of Gender Affairs.
Kiera Paul took over the position from Rosie Brown in April. Paul says that in an effort to help victims of gender-based violence, counseling is of utmost importance.
It's not fair that you would come in to make a report and then you just form part of a statistic rather than getting the service that you really need. So we have a counselor here and we've been trying to put in place other services in terms of empowering our victims who've come in to make report. So apart from just counseling, what we've started doing is what we call like a victim empowerment program where we liaise with other departments like housing, the social welfare division, even with the private sector. Sometimes we ask or we advise or we facilitate persons moving out of a situation of abuse, but they need the support to get out of there.
Discussions are also ongoing to provide housing for those affected by gender-based violence.
One of the plans, that we have is to ensure the government housing program, for example, that if 100 homes would be built in a period of 2 to 3 years, that there is a quota for victims of domestic violence, right? What we also want to do is to, some of them who are not on public welfare but who need that assistance, whether it's temporarily, that they can get the support that they need during that period. So we started working on that as well. And in terms of housing, getting temporary housing, getting long-term housing, we started discussions in that area.
Paul said it is important that individuals who go through domestic violence report it.
With a greater focus on men and involving men in terms of gender sensitization and in terms of psychosocial support, hopefully we will have more men coming forward to make that report. What we see forward is that if we engage men in the discourse, if we sensitize men, then we're going to have two things. One, we may see increased reporting from men, and two, we may see decreased reporting from women because the men themselves would realize what it is that they are doing if they are mostly the ones who are perpetrators.
The Bureau of Gender Affairs will recognize 16 days of activism against gender-based violence later this month.
Service in the community and to the country is being highlighted as one way to help move Dominica forward. The remarks came from Alan John of Colliho, who received the Services Medal of Honor for community service. The passage of Tropical Storm Erika is being seen as more reason for Dominicans to work together to rebuild the nation.
Because of what happened to Dominica, we have to focus on coming together. Because when we used to do community service before, it was a community coming together to go and work. Everybody used to live on Monday or Friday, whatever day, to come together. And then it started eroding a little, but now we get an opportunity to bring it back again. And I hope that by tomorrow we can show that spirit of community togetherness and community work that will continue for many years, because this is a stepping stone.
John says there are many benefits to be derived from having Dominicans participate in community service projects.
If you have to pay for everything you have to get done in your community will not be able to afford it. And people, with the little time they have, it doesn't take much time. If we have 20 people working for 1 hour, that is just 20 hours of work. You understand? And a few people can do a lot of work in a few hours. And then the community itself can plan how it's going to do the work and what result they will achieve. I might not be able to do as much community service again, but my role now is to teach them, have them come with me and show them what they're supposed to do and enjoy doing it.
Alan John is a former chairman of the Colliho Village Council.
Several challenges are being cited as the reason for the late move of the Grotto Home for the homeless.
The home, currently situated on Bath Road in Roseau, has been scheduled to move from that location to its new venue in Bellevue Roll since December 2014. However, due to many problems being experienced by the institution, the tentative date for the move of the Grotto Home is before the end of 2015.
On a daily basis, it has been very challenging, particularly now. I can tell you from the top of my head that the Grotto needs in excess of $121,000 on an annual basis for the sustainability of the community hostel. We have our staff who've been working beyond the call of duty. Of course, we have a new supervisor over the last more than 12 months now. Over the last couple of weeks, we have been getting some sort of assistance. In fact, one gentleman, I think Mr. Hart, Mr. and Mistress Hart, recently just pledged some $30,000 towards the fencing of the new grotto. One of the logistical problems we've been experiencing in not moving up to the new grotto is because of lack of fencing. That's one aspect of it.
Construction of the new Grotto Home started at Bellevue Roll in 2008 and was completed in 2014. Bellevue Roll is located just above Stock Farm.
We've all wanted to move as quickly as we could. As the President mentioned, there'd be some logistical issues, but really the bigger issues have been the little things that still need to be done. You can never quite get the supplies you want, you have this and that. It's even more so with the grotto, where we don't have the money to say we want this, so we're going to buy this or what. We have to be relying on a donation. Some members of the board, quite frankly, felt we're at the stage where we can move. Other members have felt, no, we're not quite at this stage. I have a 3-page list that one board member presented us showing all the little things that still have to be done. Now, quite frankly, as you may also know and can figure out, when you move, there's always things that will still have to be done. But the question is, how far have you got in terms of being able to move?
The Grotto Home for the Homeless currently houses over 40 residents.
And the new branch of an existing supermarket chain in Dominica aims to support economic growth through employment and sale of local produce. On Friday, ECS 7-Eleven Supermarket opened its third chain branch in Pottersville. Managing Director of the supermarket, Julius Timothy, revealed his plans to sell a wide variety of locally produced items at all 3 branches of ECS.
So there's going to be peeled frozen dasheen, as well as potato flour, breadfruit flour, plantain flour. And today we are introducing Tim's River Christmas Berries. Tim's River it's a liquor. It's a liquor. If you go there now, you'll see probably some breadfruit, some pears, some dasheens, all those things. They come from my farm. I intend to go into another venture with chickens, broilers, eggs, and other forms of aquaculture and hydroponics.
Timothy promised that the company would maintain its reputation of selling items at reasonable prices. Staff there also completed a training course in visual merchandising. General Manager of the supermarket, Dexter Ducre, says the new location in Pottersville provides employment for over 20 people.
Approximately 21 employees we're going to hear. So, and most of them are people who have not been employed, were unemployed. So that's 20 more persons can now go and buy stuff, take loans and do the transaction. And that's the kind of thing we need in this country, you know, to create employment. So we're really very happy that we could create some new employment. I think that's good for ACS and that's good for the economy.
ACS 7-Eleven is the only supermarket with 3 locations on island. You're watching Channel 5 News. Coming up, Junior Achievement opening up the world of finance to primary school children. Welcome back. In more police news, Khalid Nathan has been slammed with a 15-year jail sentence by High Court Judge Errol Thomas.
A jury found Nathan guilty after a trial on 1 count of unlawful sexual intercourse and 1 count of indecent assault. The 27-year-old reportedly had sex with a girl who at the time was 11 years old between January 1, 2012 and June 2012. The incident occurred at Moore Park. According to the facts of the case, Nathan, who represented himself during the trial, used his influence to lure the child to his home several times and had sex with her. He reportedly asked the child's father to allow her to go to the shop to get him something since he and the shopkeeper were not friends. He reportedly had sex with her more than 5 times according to the evidence. Nathan told the court, and I quote, "I have done wrong and have acknowledged that I have caused grief to the young lady, my family and myself. I have 2 kids and should be there for them. I never reflected on my actions and I pray that the court does not impose the maximum sentence, which is 25 years, on me." He also stated that he wanted to use his time in prison to become a better person.
In other news, one early childhood educator is hoping that funds raised during Preschool Month will be donated to Dominica's post-Erika recovery efforts.
Despite inclement weather on Friday, preschool children from the Roseau North Preschool District turned out in their numbers to celebrate the opening of Preschool Month with a church service. Preschool Month is observed in November on an island-wide basis.
The aim of Preschool Month is to bring parents together to showcase what the children has done for the term, and we also focus on parents like fathers. This year we're going to have a Father's Talent Day, where fathers will come and show their talent. But Preschool Month is a real special month, especially for the little ones, where they would go out to the different places of interest. What we would like to do is try to do something that we ourselves as principals of preschools can really give something to Dominica, to rebuild Dominica. It's like if we have a fundraising event, we can use the money, give it to whoever is in charge and say, this is from TC Sunbeam, this is from St. Alphonsus.
The theme for this year's Preschool Month is Rebuilding Dominica Together, beginning with early childhood.
With our preschool, which is the St. Alphonsus Preschool, we will be having Career Day, where the children will be dressed, you know, in what they would like to be when they grow up, not what their parents want them to be, but what they would like to be when they grow up. We'll be also having a family fun day with our parents, in our schoolyard, and lots more.
The Roseau North Preschool District includes the Oasis, St. Alphonsus, TC Sunbeam, Yampies, CUM, Zion Toddlers, and Bells Preschools.
In related news, children from 9 primary schools will learn about the world of finance as they embark on a program organized by Junior Achievement, J.A. Dominica.
The teacher training workshop formed part of the financial literacy, entrepreneurship, education, and skills for the workshop program of J.A. Dominica. The grade 5 pupils of the participating schools are given the opportunity to learn about financial literacy, entrepreneurship education, and workplace skills.
We are part of a global network that focuses on entrepreneurship, financial literacy, and workforce skills for students. And our programs are offered across kindergarten, primary, and high schools in the island of Dominica. Under the tagline, Teaching Kids to Own Their Economic Success, JA provided an important bridge between the world of work and the classroom. And in Dominica, this is important for the development of a service culture, economic orientation, and the promotion of the concept that our students must awaken to the global competition that exists right here at home.
Teachers from the participating schools and volunteers will be trained on how to deliver the JA Our Nation curriculum.
The approach really is to get our educators to understand the techniques, to interact themselves with the game pieces, the learning aids, so that when we go back into the classroom, they will be able to support the volunteers to be able to implement the program. And in the absence of the volunteers, they can go on and run the programs.
The JA Our Nation program will run from 9th November to 11th December 2015. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
In other news, one locally based organization has continued its contribution towards the Erika Relief Fund.
This was the aim of the Rotary Club of Dominica's charter dinner held over the weekend, where proceeds have been channeled to the Relief Fund. The event, held aboard the MS Free Winds, celebrated the organization's 41st year of existence.
That fund is almost 200,000 now, I must say, and the proceeds from this fund will go towards more development projects. So now that all the excitement over the relief is over, the Rotary Club of Dominica, Portsmouth, and the Rotary Club are ready to move forward with development projects.
Over the past several weeks, the club had also received donations from overseas-based organizations to help in the post-Erika relief effort.
We have touched many lives, and in every affected community, in medical institutions, homes for the homeless, homes for elderly people, schools, we have delivered supplies. At present, in moving on, we are in the process of partnering with a number of clubs and organizations to develop and implement projects.
The Rotary Club of Dominica will also be paying special attention to children of the Petit Savan Primary School.
We are partnering with the Sandals Foundation. Everybody knows of Sandals International. As soon as the storm hit Dominica, they contacted us, and they were interested in partnering with us in the development of a school or reconstruction of a school. So the Sandals Foundation will furnish a library and computer center for students of Petit Savan School who are now housed at the Dominica Teachers Training College. The project will also provide teaching materials and equipment for the school.
The club's 41st anniversary is being held under the theme, Be a Gift to the World.
And finally, a trough system has been generating unstable conditions across Dominica, resulting in moderate to heavy showers and isolated thunderstorms throughout Friday.
Shower and thunderstorm activity were expected to affect the island Friday into the weekend, with 1 to 2 inches of rainfall and high amounts in elevated areas. Sections of the island experienced rising waters Thursday, increasing the likelihood that silted or blocked waterways could promote the potential for flooding and landslides. People in flood-prone mudslide and rockfall areas have been urged to take necessary precaution to protect life and property. Motorists were also asked to exercise extreme caution when traversing the roads, especially along waterways and roads already compromised by the passage of Tropical Storm Erika. People in already vulnerable disaster areas, namely Petit Savan, Dubic, Kulibestri, Boetica, Coliho, Campbell, Fort Saint-Jean, Pichelin, Check Hall, Good Hope and Paradise Valley in Bath Estate have all been advised to exercise extreme caution and when necessary move to safer locations.
Your sports highlight next with Kenny Williams.
We start off with cricket. Australia beat New Zealand by amassing a whopping 556 runs with 4 wickets declared on the second day of their first test match on Friday. Australia batted first with Khawaja contributing a staggering 174 and Warner 163 in the first innings. Together, they accounted for a little over 60% of their team's overall score. New Zealand, despite their efforts, could only secure 157 for 5 in 45 overs in their first innings, with Williamson scoring 55. Day 3 will continue on Saturday. Still in cricket, India and South Africa entered the second day of their first test on Friday, with India leading by 142 runs with 8 wickets to spare. In the first innings, Elgar claimed 4 wickets for South Africa, with his team falling just 18 runs short of topping India's 201. South Africa were all out for 184. In the second innings, Schwinn took 5 of South Africa's wickets. India went back to bat, scoring 125 for 2 in 40 overs. We'll bring you the results of these test matches in another sports package. On the field for football, Jubila Football Club will be looking to add a 6th win to their unbeaten 5-win lead as Week 6 of the DFA Lime Premier League continues in Portsmouth on the weekend.
On Saturday, Bath Estate will take on Malta India Icons Football Club at 3 p.m. in the first match of a doubleheader, while at 5 p.m. it will be defending champions Kyrie FM Exodus Football Club versus Northern Concrete and Steel Bombers. In another doubleheader on Sunday, league leaders Jubila Football Club will go in search of their 6th consecutive victory when they take on Sajiko Southis at 3 p.m. to be followed by Caribbean Cool Harlem United versus Steinman Middleham United at 5 p.m.
Meantime, the Dominica Football Association is expected to host a session for people interested in becoming football referees. That session is carded for Benjamin's Park on Saturday. On to fencing. 13 fencers are expected to compete in the first National Fencing Championships on Saturday. The Dominica Fencing Association is expected to stage the event at the Boardwalk Restaurant in Loubier beginning at noon. Fencing began in Dominica 5 years ago. Former Olympian Woody Lawrence has been president of the local fencing association since 2012. We'll bring you the results of Saturday's championships in a subsequent sportscast. And finally, 2 athletes will represent Dominica in the Basse-Terre 10K road race in Guadeloupe on Saturday. Cedric Harris has more on that event.
Cameron Carbon, he's a member of the Pioneers Service Club and also a Dominica State College student. And the other representative is Mr. Damian Lucien of the Carinago Eagles. Hailing out from the Carinago territory. The team will be returning to Dominica on Monday the 9th. Hopefully we'll hear some good results from our athletes who have participated and represented us at that event.
We'll bring you results of that event in another sports package. Well, that's all the time we have for sports. Be sure to join us next time. I am Kenny Williams.
The weather has been a cause of concern lately. For the latest, here is your weather report.
Good evening, Dominica, and welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I'm your presenter, Marshall Alexander. We begin by taking a look at earlier infrared satellite imagery, which showed this area of deep convection associated with a trough system, which has been affecting Dominica over the last 48 hours. Now, taking a look at earlier visible satellite imagery, which showed multi-layered clouds together with embedded thunderstorm cells across the region in association with this trough system. Now taking a look at earlier radar imagery, which indicated shower activity across the area, with the heavier showers being seen over the island of Martinique. Tonight's weather is expected to be mostly cloudy to overcast with showers and isolated thunderstorms, and a flood warning is in effect for Dominica up until 12 noon tomorrow, as similar conditions can be expected into tomorrow. Sea conditions are expected to be moderate in open water with waves peaking near 7 feet. The 72-hour projection brings a tropical wave just past the islands by late Sunday into Monday. Conditions for the next 3 days: a wet weekend expected ahead with cloudy skies with showers and thunderstorm activity expected throughout the 3-day period. Looking at the bigger picture, mostly cloudy skies with showers and thunderstorm activity can be expected across the central and northern portion of the island chain, with partly cloudy to cloudy skies with some scattered showers expected across the extreme southern portion of the region. Our international cities forecast: cloudy skies expected in New York, partly cloudy skies expected in Miami and Beijing, rain expected in London, and some thunderstorm activity expected in Caracas. Sunrise tomorrow will be at 6:04 a.m. and sunset will be at 5:34 p.m. Please remember that we are in the hurricane season. For more information, you can call the weather hotline at 447-5555 or visit the website at weather.gov.dm. Thanks for viewing, have a good weekend, and stay safe.
That's news. The headlines again. Domlec launches the first in a fleet of electric cars as part of the company's contribution towards promotion of renewable energy. A Goodwill man formally charged with the murder of Tricia Rivera of Stock Farm, and the Bureau of Gender Affairs to step up support for victims of domestic violence. Email us at news@mapping2k4.com. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube page. On behalf of the production team, I am Dorian Graham Carter. Thank you for watching and have a safe weekend.